Western wordplay is basically for bitches that are trying to be men. That's why Manly P. Hall's name was Manly P. Hall. And I'll put it at the end, the wordplay references in quotes and symbols, and it's all over Satanism today. It's in his books. He was a 32-degree Mason, and it's sick and laughable to think for even a moment that they do not see it his way. But even if they didn't, the people in charge and the people that run society and every group that we have does. To even speak the English language is lightweight participating in Satanism. For me to speak that way is frustrating because I know that it feeds into the stupid psychological construct made by bitches and absolutely for bitches. When we look at testosterone, the martial arts systems were made for these people, these black African people, to focus and to take charge. Now, I am not racist as such, as I believe that there should be an order flowing from God and that people should not be treated with contempt if they find their rightful place. But none of the races have. Have any of you ever elevated the black African pure sun temple, pure masculine sun spirit, martial artist over everyone else, socially, spiritually? No. And in not doing so, you have not elevated God over your inferior deities, bull deities, serpent deities, shamans playing God, just despicable garbage, Hindu nonsense, Buddhist nonsense, foolish nonsense. So while they are blocking my receptors, messing up my testosterone generation, if you will, it is because they want to right? They miss the point. The female mislead, misguide, mismatch, miseducate, misappropriate, and so on. It's right there in their own wordplay. I'm going to stop explaining wordplay. I'm going to stop making videos. And it has to do with to restore the divine order. You cannot do it here because everyone is pretty much bred in the direction of bitches. Unnatural and moving toward eugenics, scientific racist principles, social Darwinism, and so on. So restore, restore. Heaven, no vie. No more vying with El for who is in control of man. They have chosen Satanism definitively. Even if they passionately together reached out for God, they would fail. After I die, it is done. Their unnatural direction went past the point of no return. And on some level, they're aware of that. When we look at magazine, remember the storeroom, the store explosives, warehouse. Right? Where's your house? What are the implications of your house? If you're black in an all-white neighborhood, say to that black family, where's your house? Can you concede? Make a long story short, everyone's a bitch. And it has everything to do with gentrification, genes, right? And where's your house? And a genocide, soft killing the righteous children of God. So we look at this thing, look at the gender-neutral Baphomet. Does he represent the black race that has the most testosterone? No. He represents the white race and every non-black race and the black people who are more like the white man. And usually this is a result of white male breeding. America is about 80% white and white Hispanic. White and white Hispanic. Well, what about black people who have white parental genes, right? Their father, right, passed on it. His genes are expressed through RNA in them. Okay, what about black people who have white fathers, or somewhere in their history they have white fathers? Okay, there's not a continuity of black fathers like in my family, but they have white fathers. Somewhere their genes were cut off and the white man injected his genes there. Now remember, I'm not racist, but people are breeding in a very racist way, and this has to be said. So the white man not only has, some of them have tails, right? Some of them are born with tails, and this goes back, and of course they've done something to breed that out of them, but it shows you where you get the idea of the devil. Also, there's this one creature, I don't know if it's related or not, it has these kind of fangs. This is also a white idea, pale white, vampire idea, pale moon, pale people, werewolf idea. It doesn't take a genius to see where Satanism is coming and the dangers of breeding in a worldly philosophy kind of manner, submission to evil, and having white fathers as parents. Okay? Now again, I am not fucking racist, but this is the end. It has to be said. You all worked together to betray me. All your races came together to betray me, including black people, showing that their kind of servant genes express themselves more if they're more pure black, and the white genes mixed with their servant genes express themselves more if they're African American, if they have whites in their family, and so on. It's stupid not to see it this way. It's dumb not to see it this way. You have white women all over across America saying, you know, he drives a nice car because he's making up for his lack of manhood, right? But it's more to it than penis size. It is the ability to balance testosterone, okay, with the true spirit of Ra, which is righteous indignation. Okay, so that's what happens when righteousness is expressed in this world. You get this kind of pressure cooker in the ba, and it becomes righteous indignation. The wordplay lines up there as well. So we look at what it means to care, right? To carry, to uplift, right? Uplift. Think about the hawk. Carry. Care about E. I do not carry the children of demons who refuse to rise. Remember, that goes back to restore. Rise or. Okay? Rise your rasor. To fly and to rejoin God. Remember, Jesus said his kingdom is not of this world. I would say that he was onto something there. The Bible is by the Bible. The bowl, excuse me. It is satanic. Every church there ever was, Christian church was a white supremacist church. It was designed for white people to get the upper hand, to control trade and reproduction, and to get people to do things their way so they would be at a great disadvantage. IQ backwards, of course, is key. Key versus ka. So they're measuring the X in you. Explanation. The X plan is to shun the A. Okay, and of course I'll put the wordplay at the end, and you'll see that it lines up. And the O is supposed to be the sun spirit, and the A, I think they have a little bit messed up. In fact, I know they do. The idea is to die in combat, saying, ah! Okay, that's the idea, to go to heaven. But of course, without the divine order intact, the way you say it, it will reflect that. You're just like a whiny little kid who never became a man because you weren't raised by God, Abba, the Father. So it's not the man Obi, it's not Ebo, it's really Abba. Abba is the true name for the tribe. Abba is the true God. A-ba, B-A, ba, the soul. Don't be the E, be the A. Okay. The divine order is hovering and then flying away. Man did not stand with me, and so I fulfilled my duty as Pharaoh. I had to reach out first. The Buddhism is not the path. They keep you stuck here. You have to start off by clashing with these people in a way that causes you to be persecuted to death, and you have to do it in the divine order. Okay? No one else reaches quote-unquote enlightenment in its true form, which is becoming one with God. That what they're referring to is some kind of sissy kind of state in a satanic existence. Okay. The woman is well weighted until I was out of worse shape. The reason why, again, I'm not a Muslim, I cut this because my mustache was growing over and I want to express my masculinity, so I didn't cut my beard. I don't want to look like some kind of clean-shaven sissy. And of course, you see on the Narmer palette, he has a beard as well. And this predates Islam by thousands of years. So, and even when they say sand, and they use the N-word, right? Sand, N-word, derogatory term for black people, right? When you call it to the Muslim, of course, you're referring to, first and foremost, the black African in Egypt, right? Nekhen, right above the border of Nubia, is where they united the land. Of course, they were black. It's stupid not to think of it that way. Stupid not to understand that. You see it on their own wall painting depictions. These are black people okay, playing with animals and doing some kind of dances and so on and so forth. Of course, they were martial artists, and they're depicting their kind of partying, or whatever you want to call it. Even party is part E, right? Political party, right? Part E, national security. No shun L, which they're referring to the Canaanite deity, right? Secure at E. So no shun their Lord, which is an E, which is the Lord of this world. Evil, unevolved, right? Evolved versus unevolved, okay? The E is unevolved. There is no equality. If Jesus came here, would you demand that everyone's equal? No. Would you demand that the prophets, aren't really equal? No. It's right there in their own religions, right? Do they follow anyone, or do they listen to Buddha? Okay. The idea of equality is nonsense, right? Freedom, free to be dumb and pretend you're equal. Not everyone is born equal in that sense. Some people are born more masculine. Some people are born taller. Some people are born faster. The highest expression of masculinity in a divine way is the tall and thin, coordinated, athletic sort of martial artist. Okay, because when you're focused, you shed fat, right? Ever heard baby fat and so on? Anyway, and that goes back to profit, right? Pro fat. No, pro is actually pro-pay, pro-pet, which is the leopard. Okay, it's all nonsense. I don't even like to refer to it this way, because even when I try to break the spell, so to speak, which is really escape the language, rip the piece of paper with the spell on it and say, you know what, I'm done with your spell. I broke the spell, so no more spell from now on. And just remember that moment. Remember that moment you rip the piece of paper whenever you start thinking of wordplay to help you break the spell. And so does saying ra, ka, ba, ka. But of course, at the end of the day, without me, in person, conveying this to people, and the continuity of that, man to man, person to person, it's useless. Okay, they chose the tree of knowledge for generations, okay, to generate the spirit, right? To generate the energy, right? To regenerate, to have them born, right? Rebirth, to have bear a child. Okay. The heavens belong to Ra, and A is the man's son. God's son, Ra's son. So I side with the sun spirit of Ra. So what does it mean to say, so I side? The tree of knowledge is the devil. I reject all wordplay and magic spell explanations. They build the symbolic X of the pyramid. The pyramid, on a piece of paper, you put an X and you make a square around it. And you turn it slightly. The squares turn slightly and you put an X. That's one way to draw a pyramid. So a pyramid is an X going up, or it's an X going down. And I'm sure you can understand the difference between 2D and 3D, right? What 4 generation? 3 or 4 generations. 3 tree generation. H is the fence. 4, what 4? 4 generating L, and not the true spirit of God. Okay. And of course, if you're very shallow, you're going to see things in terms of race, which their own science says doesn't exist, right? They see, it's really the God race. Ra, Si, or Ra, Ka is really the idea. The God race, okay, so to speak. Ra, Ka. They build this, okay, Haru Otap, the last pharaoh, that is me. I am the last pharaoh. All who attempted to teach me are cursed. There is no clean water, no suitable place to live. All other people are in the serpent's seed energy forever. The food is drugged, and I am harassed by people who are racist according to their, Western ideas, right? When race really doesn't exist. But being racist, as you have expressed, as you have brainwashed people to see it that way, does exist. I am harassed by racists and inhuman beasts. The air is full of gases, fumes, and pollutants. So you think about this in terms of where can the hawk get his food, his water? Where can he stop and make love with another hawk and have her plant his seed, right? Same thing with the leopard. How does this apply to the righteous animals when everyone's in the serpent? It's like a jungle full of serpents, the mountains full of serpents. All the hawk has left to do is to clash with the serpent and to get bit by the serpent's allies and get overwhelmed eventually. Eventually, he can't fly around forever. He has to land, and he can't win every clash. He's surrounded by tons of serpents waiting for him, setting traps. I'll make one last video to explain it very simply.